Hello, everybody. A big welcome to all of our soul tribe out there. And thank you for joining us for our first ever Pisces Twin Podcast.
Hello.
And for those of you who don't already know us from YouTube or Instagram, I'm Amy.
I'm Ciara.
And people know us as the Pisces Twins from Ciara's YouTube videos, really, actually. So today, we're going to be focusing on answering some questions that we posed out there to everybody. You know, we asked, what you guys want to know about us on Instagram. And these are some of the questions that we got. And we're going to go ahead and answer them today.
And we would definitely love to invite all of you guys who are watching this to comment down below wherever you can to give us suggestions for future topics that you would like to hear us discuss for these podcast episodes. You know, just drop them down below. Let us know what you want us to talk about. Feel free to ask more questions if you have more questions and all of that good stuff.
Cool. All right. So we're going to go ahead and just get right into it. Not leave you guys hanging any longer. So first question we got was, and we've gotten this quite a bit, let me tell you. What do you mean by Pisces twin? Are you guys actually twins? The answer to that would be no, we are not actually twins.
So we're not born twins, but we are blood related. But really where the twin part comes in is because a lot of the things in our natal charts and even our Chinese zodiac signs are the same. So we're both, Pisces sun. We were born in the year of the rat, and we also have just like other weird, strange coincidences and similarities that pop up. And we'll get more into that in future videos and a little bit more into some of these questions that we have here.
Yeah, we actually dream of the same exact symbology and same subject matter on the same nights. We've done that several times, like for many years. We also are pretty sure that we have been in past lives together, which is not surprising. Soulmates can be, platonic, or it can be romantic. In this case, it would definitely be platonic. And yeah, we can remember certain things. And that is for a whole nother, we plan on doing a past life thing where we're going to talk about our past lives. And we're going to share information on where you can learn more about that. And there's some really awesome videos, like with actual scientific proof about past lives that we're going to share in that podcast. So if you're interested in that, definitely comment below. I want to know how many people are actually interested in learning about that. So our next question is, who is more spiritual? Well, for this one, definitely, we're both spiritual people, but we're
spiritual in different ways,
yes.
I would say. Because again, even though we have a lot of similarities and we can jive on the same kind of things, we still have pretty different personalities when it comes to certain things. So the same goes for our kind of ways of expressing our spirituality.
Yeah. Definitely, I'm very, free-spirited when it comes to that. I'm very open-minded. I'm more of like, that chill type of hippie chick vibe. Ciara's a little bit more serious. She's still funny and witty, and, she cracks me up. Yeah, she's open-minded as well, but it's just like we're different in that aspect for sure. Next question is, our dog is being a butthole here. Who is the older twin? Okay. And that would be me. Amy is the older twin, obviously. I just spoke in first person. That sounded totally fucked up. How whacked is that?
She never does that.
No. Okay. So anyway, yeah, I'm the older twin. And it's kind of funny because when people ask my age, like the first thing that comes to my mind, and I didn't understand why for the longest time. For some reason, it's like in my head, the number 10,532 comes up. And I finally got around to Googling that, like what was going on in Earth during that time period. I challenge you guys to go look and see what was going on.
We'll get more into that too.
Yeah, it's kind of trippy.
Video.
It's real fucking trippy, actually. So that's how long I feel like, I guess that's the number that I've been told and given to me by guides, ascended masters, whatever, how long ago since I've reincarnated, on Earth, I guess you could say, or how many times I've reincarnated in general.
So the next question we have here is, how did you first start with tarot? And so I'm going to go ahead and let my twin start that one off.
So I had tarot decks. I've had them for decades. First tarot deck that I got was a gift to me. And you don't have to have gifted tarot to read tarot, okay, you guys? Just don't buy into that. But it was a gift, and it was the Thoth deck. And I've always been extremely attracted to ancient Egypt and stuff like that. So that's the Crowley deck, and it's all Thoth is like one of my favorite Egyptian gods. The other one would be Anubis, and the other one would be Set. So of course I love Isis big time. So it's like that's why I was really attracted to that deck to begin with. So that is not an easy deck to learn. Okay. That's like one of the hardest ones it's very deep. So I don't recommend it for beginners.
And so how I got started with tarot is, I saw my twin using tarot while I was growing up. And so I had to be, when I got my first tarot deck, which was in a similar boat of being a very kind of non-traditional tarot, especially when it came to the meanings and some of the symbology with it, and that was the Shapeshifter Tarot. And I got that definitely when I can't remember the exact age, but I know I was under the age of 10 when I first got that. And I was just reading the tarot for myself pretty much for years, and then there was like periods where I wasn't really using it until I really got into it probably the end of last year, 2018, and the beginning of this year.
Yeah, and so like the next question we got was, how long have you been reading tarot? And like I just said, it's been like a couple decades, but there's been time periods where it's like I'll just put it away, and I hadn't messed with it for a while, and then recently is like a big resurgence in that. It's just I felt called to use it and to do it more often. And it's amazing how, since I've gotten more into it, because basically I went through a hardcore energy upgrade, spiritual awakening thing that occurred, full-on Kundalini awakening, where things have completely changed in my life. Like, I mean, literally physically, the way that my body works, and mentally, definitely. I'm way more clair, like I have the clair abilities much stronger now. It's really kind of amazing. So that's, off and on, for decades. So.
And as I said, I got mine when I was, again, under the age of 10. And so that's how long I've been delving in with that. So the next question we have here is, when did you start doing oracle and tarot readings with your Pisces twin? So it was definitely my Pisces twin idea. It was a suggestion because when I started my YouTube channel, or more so when I started doing tarot readings on my YouTube channel, we were doing readings for each other, not filming it or anything. And it was her suggestion well, why don't we try doing a reading together on YouTube?
Actually, it wasn't my suggestion. It was from beyond where I got the suggestion, which is very fascinating. So it's like my guide was like, you should do it together. So obviously we're doing it together now. So,
which has been a lot of fun. And for the most part, a lot of you really enjoy those videos as well. So that's really nice. And you guys always leave really great comments.
Yeah. So, what was the next question?
What advice can you give for those just starting to tap into spirituality?
I definitely would say meditation.
And one of my suggestions would be gentle with yourself, because it's a process that's going to bring out a lot of strengths. It's going to bring up a lot of positive things, but at the same time, it's also going to bring up your shadow aspects that you need to learn to integrate and accept. And so just, take things slow. And again, don't force yourself to follow the mold that you think somebody else, is successful with, because that might not be what's right for you to do.
Exactly. And we all have our strengths and weaknesses when it comes to like our spirituality, talents and whatnot. Not everybody's going to get messages from their guides all the time. Not everybody's going to have like completely freaking vivid messages in their dreams. They're not going to all of a sudden have a Kundalini awakening. This is a long process that takes time, and it is divinely guided and divinely timed. So it happens for you when you're ready for it to happen to you. You have to have patience. That's part of the process.
And I would say, much like just throughout life, you never stop learning. I would say you never stop, I think, growing into your spirituality.
Exactly.
And, you know, on that note about like the differences, like my twin, she gets a lot of messages from her spirit guides. I don't get as strong of connection from spirit guides, but I tend to see things like out of the corner of my eyes a lot. I have a lot of like clairvoyant kind of clair abilities and probably like clairsentience or claircognizance. I can never remember.
Clairsentience really gnarly.
Is that the smelling one?
Yeah.
Or which one's the sensing one? I can never remember that one. Is that the claircognizance?
No, I think it's clairsentience. Claircognizance is when you know the future.
Yeah.
Which lately that's
like,
been freaking ramping up hardcore for me. Let me tell you, holy shit. I will have dreams. I've been having dreams for a couple nights in a row now where I'm literally having, you know, sitting with my guides and they're like reading tarot to me and telling me stuff that's really important. And then I am compelled the next morning to go pull tarot cards, and literally the same damn cards will come out that they pulled for me. So that's pretty crazy shit. I mean, I like get chills. You know, and I'm very clairaudient. I can feel like the song that just has been going through my head, and I swear to God, whenever I hear it, it like gives me butterflies in my stomach and it gives me tingles all over my body, is Because the Night by Patti Smith Group. If you look the lyrics up for that, I actually posted it in my Instagram stories, and I think it's actually in my favorite things, or it's in one of my featured little story things. What do you call those?
Highlights.
Highlights, thank you. So, but whenever I hear that song, I literally, because I get this thing where it's like I know my guide is like right there, like next to me or around me, because I literally, and it's a guy, I can feel his fingers going up the back of my neck. I'm getting chills right now. I'm actually getting the tingles on the top of my head right now, where it's like he's running his hand up the back of my freaking neck and up into my hair, like at the top of my skull, and massaging the top of my skull. It's crazy. It feels amazing. But whenever I hear that song now, and that song came to me when I was waking up from a dream where, you know, he's like reading the cards to me and he's telling me this stuff, and that song was going through my head, and I had not heard it in years and years and years. So it wasn't something I recently heard or anything like that. You know how you get like a song stuck in your head like that. But there's a reason why you get it stuck in your head, so pay attention. But yeah, I was blown away by that. And then when I looked it up, I'm like, oh, hell yeah. And I just knew that was just something I needed to hear, and it was a message. So it's pretty cool. So yeah, everybody gets their gifts or whatever, you know.
And you can have more than one.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Some are going to be stronger than others.
Yes.
That's a given. Mm-hmm. Like my dreams in particular are, a lot of times they're very vivid, and usually they involve other worldly kind of places and weird, you know, creatures and things like that, as well as sometimes they can be kind of prophetic. Like certain things that will pop up in daily life. I also have had quite a few experiences of just major deja vu with certain things. That's just like, it's so weird when that happens.
Yeah, that's claircognizance. Yeah, definitely. I think Ciara's got like a tap into the Fae world. Definitely.
I have had so many different kinds of Fae in my dreams, and
so have I.
some that probably, if most people had it pop up in their dreams, they would be probably very terrified by it. But for some reason, when it pops up in my dreams, they don't scare me. It's very strange. I've talked about doing this for a while, and it's one of my projects that I need to work on, but actually painting and drawing out a lot of the things that I see in my dreams. One in particular, a certain I refer to it as a deity because that's just what it felt like when it popped in my dream, because it was way more intense than anything else.
I have Freyr pop up in mine all the time.
See, I don't know what honestly, I can't place
he is
what kind of
fucking
deity
amazing.
I saw in
Holy
my dream.
Shit.
Like,
he is so hot.
I know a bit about mythology from different places, but I can't place what this one was that I saw in my dream, where she belongs to. It was very odd.
The thing also that really comes up to me like hardcore is angels, and they are always in my dream. I mean, literally, I was picked up and swooped away by one, and I could feel myself flying through the air in his arms. It was insane. I mean, ooh.
I'm pretty sure through like when I was doing some meditation that the only angel that I felt like I've really interacted with has been Archangel Raphael, and that was through a meditation.
Yeah, mine is definitely like the strongest is Michael, a little bit Gabriel, but then the other one, I honestly don't know who he is, but ooh la la. He's not like the other two, okay? It's like, damn. Wow. I'm not going to get into that in this podcast.
No, we'll do a separate podcast on that.
Ouchie. Okay. So, yeah. Next question. Oh, and the spirituality thing, definitely start with meditation and work on those
meditation is
chakras.
important.
Because literally that's like the gateway, I would say, like to really get into it. Because you have to like learn meditation the correct way as well. Okay. Because when you do that, I mean, you can literally have a Kundalini awakening when you do that. I use the Insight Timer app. And that's where I got started with like learning and training how to do, meditation the correct way. And David G is a really good one I started with. That was like one of the first ones I started with on there. But there's all kinds of courses and classes on how to meditate correctly. And, you really want to work on clearing your chakras and working with them as well. Because, if you have cleared chakras, then, you can tap into that higher self and, the divine and stuff very easily. So that's what I recommend, definitely. So anyway, next question is, what made you want to start a YouTube channel?
And so I'll start off by explaining this because I've been on the YouTube sphere for probably a little bit longer.
A lot longer.
So I, of course, like anybody does probably when they're young and they get access to the internet and access to YouTube, I started off by watching silly cat videos. And so I had an account that I was watching a bunch of different people with, gamers and all kinds of other stuff. That's how I really got into YouTube, and especially realizing that YouTube was like a platform that people could possibly, express their creativity as well as support themselves with. And so in 2016, I'm pretty sure it was like August 1st, 2016 is when I started and I launched my official YouTube channel. And I started off with doing art videos, and I still do an occasional art video every now and again, but it wasn't until the beginning of this year that I started doing the tarot reading videos, because it's just like a strange coincidence, I guess you could say, of just events and getting into certain things kind of led me to having tarot readings pop up on my YouTube somehow, and realizing like, hey, a lot of people do this on YouTube. I've been thinking about like this would be a cool thing. And much like how I've gone into a lot of other things, it's like if other people who I feel are similar to me in some way are doing it and they can do it, then there's no excuse for me not to start it and do it myself if I'm thinking about it and I'm being drawn to it. So that's how I got into YouTube, for sure.
Yeah, and then when I started doing videos with her, then, she was encouraging me to have my own channel too. So
Again.
So we decided to, I just started to give it a try. At first I was like totally like, no, I'm not about that life. But then, she's like, oh, you should try it out. You should do it. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck? I might as well. So I went ahead and did it.
I just want to say, I saw 555 again.
Are you serious?
Oh my God.
Yes, I just looked up and there it is. Oh my God. Yes. Okay. So, change is on the way. Anyway, so yeah, I love like the YouTube tarot community. I like how there's plenty to go around, folks. Okay. I don't get when I have come across people arguing and stuff.
They're
about
fighting over like, oh, you're copying me, but literally what they're doing is like something a million other channels have done.
I know.
A million
I
of
don't
different
get that.
times. It's like
what?
if it's such a basic thing and kind of concept, it's
You
like
didn't invent tarot,
exactly.
honey. So
Or a specific spread or like using a specific tool in a video. It's like, I guarantee that somebody else at least has done it once out there.
Exactly.
So it's just
what's
like,
not okay is people stealing videos and then claiming that they're theirs. That is not okay.
what makes it unique and makes it unique to you is the message that you're channeling and you're expressing and your own voice and stuff. That's what makes it unique. It's not a specific deck unless you made the deck yourself.
Yeah.
Then that does make it unique to you.
And we do use some, creators decks, indie decks, definitely. So when it comes to that, it's like everybody, what I think is so fun about this is like, you'll like subscribe to somebody and you'll watch their stuff. And then you go watch multiple different people like doing a spread that's like similar. And then what you do is you take the messages, and sometimes, I'll take notes. I know other people do it too. You'll get a similar message across the board.
I have so many times.
You will get that message over and over and over again, and that is the message that is meant for you. So that's what's cool about, and why I say there's plenty to go around for us all, because we all are the collective conscious. We all share one consciousness together, which is what the establishment, there I'm going to be a hippie, and say, that, hey, they're trying to make us believe that we're not all one, but we really are, okay? And when we come together as one in our mind, there's nothing that we cannot do. If we want peace on earth, we can make peace on earth if we wanted to, okay? So it's like, when you watch these messages from all these different readers and then you listen to them and you're going to get the same message. It's a fucking trip. Okay. And I have a specific message that I've been getting a ton for the past freaking like 8 months.
I have a certain message that I've been getting literally since I started watching tarot pick
it's
cards.
Fucking crazy. And it's like, it's really weird because this message that's coming through, it's like, what? And it's like, I was not expecting that. And it just keeps popping up over and over again. So I'm like, okay, well, obviously this is something. And even when I pull cards, the same shit comes out.
Or when I pull cards for her.
Yes, it's freaking nuts. So yes, definitely pay attention to that. And I highly recommend trying that. Support your local tarot reader. All right. So anyways, next question is, how did you guys meet?
Again, that goes back. We're blood related, so we've
known each other our whole lives.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So simple answer to that
one. Cut and dry
one.
on that one. Next question. Can you tell me more about your birth chart? Yeah, I'd love to, except I'm not going near that shit right now. It's Mercury in retrograde.
Literally, it's like I was trying to pull up my chart. It's like I looked at my chart. I totally knew what it was saying for certain aspects of it, and then I brought it up recently, and it was like saying something completely different, and I hadn't changed anything. It was just so weird. I don't know what the hell happened.
I can tell you a little bit like about the basics. It's like my sun is in Pisces, my moon is in Leo, my rising is Aquarius. So I'm conflicted as fucking shit. Basically, my Lilith is in Scorpio. My Aries is in my Venus is in Aries, which is okay. Just put the Lilith in Scorpio and the Venus in Aries together, and figure it out for yourself, yo. Okay, it's pretty intense. Okay, it's intense over here. My Mars is in Taurus. Again, intense, which is kind of cool because the Venus and the Mars, Venus and Mars are like the counterparts. I can't remember what I was looking at about that. I don't think my signs jive on that, but it's kind of funny because a lot of the people that I know, those two do jive together, which I think is really interesting. What else? I'm Neptune dominant. For sure, like really dominant. And then Saturn and Uranus are tied for the next ones, which isn't surprising, which is, oh my God, when you think about that, Neptune dominant, and then you have Saturn and Uranus. It's like, I'm surprised I'm standing here alive talking to you right now, because think about that. There's too much shit going up in my brain right now. It's crazy. Also, I'm a life path 11 when it comes to numerology. My destiny number, I think, is 1. I think my heart's desire is 2. My personality is 8. So, yeah. It's some crazy shit.
My numerology, my life path number is a 3. I'm trying to remember what the rest of I think my personality or something. I know I have 5 somewhere in my numerology chart, as well as I can't remember the rest of them. I have them written down somewhere. But as far as my astrology goes, my sun is in Pisces, my moon is in Leo, my ascendant is in Cancer. And so my Sagittarius is with Pluto. I have Capricorn in both Jupiter and Neptune. I have Aquarius in Uranus and Mercury. And I also have Pisces in Mars and Saturn. And I also have Aries in Venus as well. And my Black Lilith is in Cancer. And my Chiron is in Libra, as well as my North Node is in Libra,
right.
and my South Node is in Aries.
Okay, y'all. My freaking North Node is in friggin' Aquarius, too, as well as my rising sign, and my South Node is Leo, which means crazy-ass past life. Which CR and I definitely...
Well, we'll get into that in a separate podcast.
We knew... Bring on the katana.
We'll bring it into a different podcast.
Yeah, okay. So, anyways, so yeah, our Eastern or Chinese zodiac is the rat, both of us.
And also, if you're not aware with the Chinese zodiac, mattering on which specific year you're born in, there's actually a specific element that is associated with whatever your Chinese zodiac sign is. For her rat is in water, while my rat is in fire. So my predominant elements are most prominent one is water, and then second is fire. So I have a lot of conflicting.
But it's kind of funny because like a lot of the stuff in my chart is like it's like air. I think is like the most. I have a lot of air in my astrology chart, and then fire. I think, and then water, then earth.
Earth is my lowest.
It's kind of
element.
funny because like all the guys that I've dated in the past, it's like they're all fire signs or air signs, except for one Scorpio, and and a Pisces. Yeah, that was pretty crazy shit. So yeah, it's like the freaking fire signs. It's like I love me some Leo action, but my Leo was a dick, so that didn't work out. But I love Leos, I really do.
And so the next question that we have here is favorite TV shows.
Oh my God.
There's too many.
Yeah. But I would say the number one holy grail TV show would probably be Supernatural.
Then X-Files.
Okay, those two. And it's kind of cool because they're both Chris Carter. So it's like...
They're both buddies.
Mm-hmm. So it's like...
X-Files is like the...
daddy of Supernatural.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
A lot of the same actors, a lot of the same writers have worked on both shows. And
I know, some of the younger people out there, some of you might not have watched X-Files.
There are some who haven't.
I highly recommend you go and watch it from season 1 all the way through. It is the shit.
And the movies.
It is the bomb. I love me some Fox Mulder. I love that Deepwood
Spooky.
Duchovny. Bring that baby on. He is fucking awesome.
It's such a great show. There's some
God.
Classic episodes.
I love,
it's so good.
One of my favorites is, oh my God, I'm brain farting.
Small Potatoes.
Small Potatoes.
And Humbug.
Humbug is like, oh my God.
And the vampire one that I can never remember the name of.
I know, right? There's like 2. There's one with,
there's the more serious vampire one, but I'm talking about the one that has the other Kelso.
Luke.
The other Kelso. I remember his name.
Casey Kelso?
Casey Kelso.
I remember Casey Kelso. Luke Wilson. Is it Luke Wilson? Is it Luke?
I don't know.
It's one of the Wilson boys, okay? He's in it.
The other
He's
Kelso.
a vampire, and he is fucking adorable. So
it's a good episode. It's such a good episode. It's so funny.
Watch the X-Files. It's fucking bomb. from the 70s, like I watched, like I went through a phase where I was like so addicted to like old TV shows. And of course, I mean, if you have not watched I Love Lucy, you're not American, okay?
I Love Lucy is a classic.
It is the shit.
You have to watch it.
You have to, and you know what? She was like a groundbreaking. They were
groundbreaking.
Yes, and I mean,
they were the first TV show to show a man and a woman in bed together.
Yes, exactly. And then Desi Arnaz, you know, being from Cuba, he was an immigrant to America, and he literally took over. Okay. He bought CBS and he ran it. And, you know, they used to joke and call it the Cuban broadcasting system. But I highly recommend looking into their lives. They were incredible people, incredible couple. And seriously, she really crossed, because think about it, 50s women were so oppressed.
She was wild.
She totally was like, fuck that crap. I'm going to freaking be a, wild bitch. And I'm going to just do what I want to do.
You know, contradict her husband and all that kind of
and
stuff.
mouth off to him and stuff like that.
It's great.
I mean, it's so utterly fucking American, It's just like American, in a good way, not in a bad way, like how it used to be, because I mean, he's from Cuba and she's from Jamestown, New York, and whatnot.
Irish.
Or she's Scottish. Supposedly in the show. Okay. Yeah. She's Scottish. What is her? McGillicuddy.
McGillicuddy.
So totally watch that.
Oh my God,
Three's Company.
I love Three's Company.
And even Lucille Ball loved.
She loved Jack Ritter.
She loved Jack Ritter. Yes. John Ritter.
John Ritter.
Jack Tripper. John Ritter. I love John Ritter.
John Ritter's great.
If you haven't watched Three's Company, watch Three's Company.
It's so funny.
That show was the shit.
And it's it's just a hilarious setup. Honestly, because
there's an episode called Up in the Air.
Oh my God, Up in the Air. It's so great.
It's so good. But it's so funny.
But the basic synopsis of that series is basically you have two, young single girls in an apartment, and they get a straight boy roommate, and their landlord isn't thrilled by that, and so he has to pretend that he is gay in order to live there, and so they have to hide that fact, and so it goes into just like basic hijinks of these young people in their lives and living in this apartment together.
And it's actually based on a British television show.
It is.
So
there's actually quite a few of our favorite shows that are based on
The Office.
The Office.
The Office is another one. Okay, Jim and Pam forever. All right.
The Office
Dwight makes me laugh my ass off.
Oh my God, Dwight is great.
He's like fucking Darth Vader or some shit. It's like, oh my God. So yeah, I mean, The Office is definitely another one. I mean, it's so damn cringy, especially when you're watching
especially
the first
the early
two seasons. Yes.
Well, okay, maybe it's not that the first season is especially cringy. It's just when you first start watching it from the first season, it's just so cringy.
It's uncomfortable as hell.
Once you get a few seasons in, you're used to it. So it's just you're filtering it. So it's just whatever. You're used to it.
It's the best. It's so great.
That's what she said.
Exactly. So, what's another one? We have Vikings.
Vikings is
Hello,
great.
Ragnar. I like Bjorn personally.
Yeah, Bjorn.
Bjorn's the bae.
But I don't mind freaking.
What's the uncle name?
Ivar, the boneless.
Oh, I love Ivar.
I also like the actor. Goodness. He's funny.
Oh my God! If you don't follow him on Instagram, I highly recommend you follow.
And then
Alex.
of course you got Gustav.
Oh my God! Yes, that's a Skarsgård in there,
Floki.
y'all. Yes, he plays Floki, and he's a Scorpio.
He's a freak. They're all freaks.
Yes,
in some way or another.
I know. But Vikings is an excellent show. It is fucking fantastic.
Speaking of that, we enjoyed True Blood when we watched that, and I read all
another
the books.
Skarsgård.
Yeah, a different Skarsgård, but I read all of the books for that one.
Yep. Definitely.
So I know how the series actually ends.
And we watched Game of Thrones, but it just pissed me off at the end. I was like,
I was never a huge fan of Game of Thrones.
I wasn't the biggest fan of that either, but I still liked it. I mean, I watched it. The Red Wedding was fucking insane. That was pretty
There's a few select episodes that they did pretty well, but overall, it's not a series that I'm particularly invested in or a fan of. I even tried reading the books, and there's just too mmany chapters and too many characters that I just don't care to read about. While there were others that I found really interesting, and again, it's when the little bit that I did read, it was it made me appreciate those particular characters in the TV show a lot more.
Oh, Sex and the City.
Oh yeah.
I mean, shit. I own the
Ooh.
series, and I've watched it about 1,000,000 goddamn times.
That's a classic.
yes. I mean, hello, the absolute hunk.
Oh my god.
I remember when I first watched that show, when he like came out, I like freaking died when I saw him.
How about-
I was like, holy shit.
Good Omens.
Oh my God, yes. David
Anything
Tennant.
David Tennant.
Yes, anything with David Tennant is always
I
good.
have been a huge fan of David Tennant ever since. Well, it's funny because I watched him in Harry.
Bitch
I watched
in Good Omens.
I watched him in Harry Potter, but I didn't even realize who he was. It wasn't until I watched Doctor Who, and I got really into Doctor Who. And
well,
he's-
Doctor Who is one of your favorite TV shows.
Yeah, it is. He's my favorite Doctor.
Sherlock.
Oh, Sherlock is awesome.
My
Super
God.
Hulock.
Yes,
right
Super
here.
Hulock.
Yeah, Sherlock is awesome too.
If you have not watched Benedict in action, you need to go do
Benedict,
that.
he's just he's a cancer.
He is a piece of work, that man.
Yeah,
I mean, even as Doctor Strange, he's fucking...
he's great.
He's just...
I watched a video recently of kind of deleted bloopers of him from various different things, and some of them were clips from Doctor Strange. He's just funny. He's just goofy.
I love him.
He's great.
Fantastic.
I can definitely see the cancer.
Yeah. I mean, he's like Jared Padalecki with the sense of humor. He's kind of goofy.
Yep.
There are so many shows, though, seriously, that I could just go on for
We
days.
could go on
we
for a
watch a
long
lot.
time.
We've been watching anime. I mean, Ciara's been watching it way longer than me.
Yeah.
But she got me watching it, and it's like, I remember, I've watched, stuff like anime
You were
when I
a
was
casual
a kid.
viewer.
But yeah, I was. And it's like Vampire Hunter D was like one of my favorites because, let's face it, I would bone the crap out of Vampire Hunter D, okay? He is just a sexy bitch, all right? And I would let him do whatever he wanted to me. But, anyway.
Fan art of him and Alucard next to each other.
Oh my God,
Alucard from Castlevania. Just to be clear,
Castlevania.
because there is more than one Alucard, okay? Especially if we're talking about anime. There's multiple different ones with that particular name, vampire-wise. But yes, the Castlevania one, I've seen some
he is
fan
so
art.
fucking sexy.
Very small amount, but Castlevania, Alucard, and Vampire Hunter D, great mix. I need to draw some of that shit
I love
myself.
Death Note, okay?
I got her into Death Note.
Holy shit.
Death Note, anybody who's an anime fan who is listening to this right now, we all know Death Note is a classic, and anybody who wants to argue otherwise is wrong.
I like Blue Exorcist. I've only watched how many episodes of Psycho Pass?
You've watched 2 episodes,
It's
maybe.
freaking good.
I've watched all of Psycho Pass. That's one of my favorites. It is so great. If you haven't watched, especially if you like Hannibal, which is another
Oh my
TV
God,
show. That
how did we
love.
not freaking mention
I
that?
don't know. We always forget
You
about
want
that.
some freaking eye porn? Watch Hannibal.
Food porn?
Okay, food porn. It is so...
Aesthetic.
It is.
Aesthetic.
It's totally artistic.
It's
and
great.
it's really dark ass subject matter, but Mads Mikkelsen. Oh
Hugh
my
Dancy.
God.
Hugh Dancy
Swoon.
is-
I
I've
swoon over
always-
that man.
I've
okay?
always liked Hugh Dancy.
Oh, they're both fucking
because
hot as hell.
I was a big fan growing up of the movie Ella Enchanted.
Oh my God,
that
yes.
and Sleepover are two of my movies that I would watch, and Hugh Dancy is in Ella Enchanted.
He's so cute.
I also really liked another movie that he was in with called Blood and Chocolate, which is actually based off a novel, and it's a werewolf story. That's not a bad one. I still need to read the book on that one, but
But yeah, seriously, Hannibal
it's such a great show.
with Mads. Oh my God, Mads is
He's brilliant.
it's funny because in the movies with Anthony Hopkins, he based
His character.
his
of
character
Hannibal.
off Hal the computer from 2000 Space Odyssey or whatever
Yeah.
the hell. But Mads just straight up was like, oh, no, fuck that shit. I'm going to base my character off fucking Satan. And so he did. And
Oh,
he
the
is
art direction of the show is so brilliant.
effing sexy. He is just oozing with sex appeal. And his European tailored suits, he's super artistic. The food alone in that freaking show is if
The
you're one of those people
cinematography.
who like to watch food videos on YouTube, watch fucking Hannibal. And it's kind of disturbing because you're mouth
You're
is
always
watering
questioning.
and you're getting sucked
Because
into
they
it.
mess with your mind because you
Oh,
you
they
on a lot of
so
times
fuck with your
you
head.
don't know if it's
Human
people
they're serving
or if it's not.
or if it's just regular food. So, and he's so fucking smart. He's so highly intelligent. I mean, except for the eating of the people part, he is literally the perfect fucking man. I mean,
so why I brought that up is like, if you liked Hannibal and you like kind of like the mind games and, you know, the morality questions and all of that, you would probably find something you really enjoy in Psychopaths, the anime. Because like when I was watching, there's even like an arc of episodes within Psychopaths that are like extremely similar to how Hannibal the TV show is, like especially with the whole I'll just like say this much, the body thing, like the way that like the corpses and stuff look. Like if you guys have an idea, if you've watched that, you'll kind of know what I'm talking about either way. But it's a good anime to watch.
yeah, it's freaking great.
So
Go on.
oh, I was gonna say, moving on into the next question that we have here is favorite foods.
Well, that's obvious. Sushi.
I love sushi. That's there's usually two things that pop in mind whenever I get that question, and that is sushi, pomegranates, and then maybe like third thing would be peaches. But like I love pomegranates. I eat a whole pomegranate to myself like more than once every year when they come into season. I love them. And sushi.
I love Japanese food so much. I had a Japanese person living in my house when I was a kid, and I remember her inviting her friends over, and she would make like the most effing amazing food. It was so good. I mean, and they took like so much effort and so much time and so much
Care.
It's just so
artistry.
It's beautiful. You know, it's like sometimes when they make food, it's like you don't even want to eat it. You just want to stare at it because it's so damn beautiful.
Aesthetic.
Seriously, it's that aesthetic again. Yes, exactly. So
I love it.
I'm like way into that shit. I went to art school.
Same.
Ciara's an art major. So yeah.
Aesthetic is everything.
Yes. And it's like, you know, I'm all about that. I actually have a personal training certification as well. So I'm just not about like art and aesthetic that way, but I like looking at the human body sculpted in a beautiful way as well. So, and then they actually play together. I can't believe how many people I met during art school that were also into, you know, physical fitness and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
like,
because
training
it's like
people.
when
Or
you-
they were dancers. And I also, you know, danced like for many years as a kid and stuff. So
When you have somebody who's in shape, that just helps you as an artist because you can see all the muscle groups like way easier and pick up on all these little connections and stuff.
So if you see me and you've been following my Instagram and you see me post hot guys in my stories or something, and I'm like, Ciara, check this out for your art inspiration. That's why. It's not just because it's eye candy. It's because, yes, this is like perfect to draw. It's like the fucking statue of David. Okay.
Oh, I love the
Oh
statue
my
of
God.
David.
My personal favorite is the Sleeping Satyr.
The Sleeping Satyr is awesome.
The Barberini fawn is also what it's referred
Well,
to.
the reason I like David is just because he's got
such a nice ass.
He
Holy
just does.
shit.
And you know, I've grown to have quite a. At first, when I started, I wasn't a huge fan of Michelangelo, but I did a whole like paper and presentation on Michelangelo, specifically the Sistine Chapel, and just learning that story and learning more about him, I have way more respect for him.
Yes.
And his the bullshit that he went through. Him and Leonardo da Vinci, Goya is a huge favorite.
Oh my
of mine.
God.
Always has been.
Yes.
I love his darkness.
So anyway, I don't know how we got on the subject of that over food, but yeah, I mean, basically Japanese food is like probably my favorite. And then I like
Pasta.
Italian food. Definitely Italian food is
Salad.
really good.
Salads.
I like a lot
Soup.
of...
I love soup.
Oh, well, I make really good soup.
Yes, her soup. Chicken noodle soup.
I'm not trying to brag, but I can kick ass at the soup.
I follow your recipe and I've learned how to do a decent job with it now.
Yeah, she has. It's pretty good. So like in wintertime, it comes in handy, let me tell you, because it gets effing cold here. But not as cold as it does in some places, and I give props to the people who live in the freaking butt-ass Arctic cold. So, yeah, I mean, we just have like a lot of wet cold here. It's really weird. It's not like dry cold where it just kind of sits out there. This is like wet cold. It seeps into your clothes.
in.
It doesn't matter how many layers you have on. It's going to bite you, okay? It sucks. So anyway, Okay, so favorite superheroes is the next question. What are your favorite superheroes? For me, I like anti-heroes more than regular old superheroes.
Same.
Because they're more realistic.
They're more interesting.
I'm sorry. I don't buy that everybody's like, if somebody tries to put themselves off as being this fucking perfect saint that does no wrong ever, it's bullshit. Run, get away from that person as fast as humanly possible. They're not real. They're fake as fuck, okay? Which means they're probably more evil and demonic than the most evil person out there. What I like about anti-heroes is they're not good, they're not bad, they're just gray.
A lot of my favorite ones have been anti-heroes.
And The Crow is definitely one.
Awesome.
I swear to God, you don't even know how many times I saw the movie The Crow with Brandon Lee. I was like obsessed with him, okay? He was like my bae, and I was just like drooling over him constantly. But yeah, I thought that movie back in the day was so romantic, and it's like...
Yes, it is.
It is. It really is.
It's a melancholy
I'm so
romance.
fucking sad that guy is no longer with us, because I really would have loved to have seen where his career went. Because that was just like, I thought that was like the start. It was like the pinnacle. It's like, yes, Brandon's going to be dope, but... And he unfortunately lost his life, so that sucked. And then the other one would be Deadpool for me. I love Deadpool because he's a smartass.
It's just hilarious. For me, like, especially speaking about anti-heroes, Deadpool for sure. I absolutely love Deadpool. I first got into Deadpool thanks to watching, I think it was probably PewDiePie playing the Deadpool game. That's what really first introduced me to the character, and then I started just like delving in and reading the comics. I have like the huge like bounded volumes of it. The other character who's not an anti-hero but goes hand in hand with Deadpool, and that's Spider-Man. I absolutely love those two together, and Spider-Man has always been a favorite of mine. I would say, like, especially like from the DC world, I really liked Catwoman, and she is an anti-hero as well. I don't mind Aquaman.
Yeah. Oh, Jason Momoa's Aquaman is drool worthy.
I also like Jessica Jones, and I would.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Like, so definitely, if you're watching the TV show, she is probably more of an anti-hero who's trying to be more of a hero. In the comics, is still kind of on that board. It's more like she just doesn't. She's more realistic, even though she's somebody who has powers, and the comics are really interesting because you get more of that cross section of the Marvel universe, and like you have who is it? Captain Marvel, I think, pops up. Captain America pops up, and we got like some shady stuff going on with that in like the first volume of I forget which arc it is of Jessica Jones, but I really like her, and I really love the TV show. Also, Daredevil, that TV show was great as well.
That was so good.
I'm trying to think of what other
I'm so pissed they canceled that. Why do they always cancel the good shows?
I don't know.
And they leave the shit on.
I really like the X-Men too.
Yeah.
Which again goes kind of
Wolverine.
hand in hand with Deadpool because he's a part of that same kind of universe there as well. And I actually like pretty much all of the X-Men movies, even though a lot of people bitch about them, complain about them.
I love the one where he goes to Wolverine. What is that one called? I always forget the name of it.
I don't remember
where
what
he's
that
in
one.
Japan. I love that one.
The one X-Men, the one Wolverine movie though, that's like his origin movie where they do bring in Deadpool.
That one sucks.
That one is so horrible. That one is the worst one, hands down.
Yeah.
What they did with Deadpool was like so stupid and horrible.
Even freaking Ryan Reynolds thought it was stupid.
And it was his chance to play Deadpool for the first time.
And
they sewed up his
Hollywood
mouth.
can suck my ass, okay? They really need to pull their fucking heads out of their butt, okay?
It's
And with their
bad.
freaking prudish crap. It's like, just get over it already. Fuck,
So I guess I have another group of superheroes. They're technically superheroes that I could throw in as some of my favorite, and that's Miraculous Ladybug and Cat Noir.
That's that hottie you drew.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, you trying to kill me in the morning when I'm drinking my coffee.
Yes, I'm somebody who is a fan of that animation, cartoon, whatever you want to lump it in, that's meant for like 7-year-olds, but I watch it along with other people who are like over the age of 20. Just try watching it and you'll understand what draws people into it, okay? It's just the relationships and the dynamics of it that just like pull you in because you just want to see these particular characters finally come together, but it just never happens. It just drives you nuts and you keep watching. You just keep watching.
Okay, so next question is favorite books to read. What are your favorite books? Okay, so Ciara reads a shit ton more than I do because I'm busy doing other things. But
Well, I'm busy too, but
well, now she is. She used to do nothing but read, but it's
I
like,
love books.
Like literally, she'd be like reading like 10 books at a time. You know, damn. It's like, you know, when I was younger, I'd be reading one book at a time. These kids today. So anyway, no, yeah. Go ahead. You start.
So definitely there's a nice chunk of novels that I love. I also am really into obviously like comics, graphic novels, manga, and so I'm growing my collection of physical manga. I have like a decent little collection right now. I've read way more than what I actually own. But as far as novels go, I'm always a huge fan of Rick Riordan's books. I started reading those when I was fairly young. I absolutely love his stories. The way he writes characters and the dynamics are super fun. Kelly Armstrong as well as somebody else.
I read those. I read those first and turned her onto them.
She didn't read all of them though.
She read all of them. I've read some of them. You know, I was pissed when they turned it into a friggin' TV show.
Oh, they butchered the TV show. Oh my god, it's so
I
bad.
couldn't even watch it. I'm
It's
like,
so
this
bad.
is
Especially,
not.
okay, the biggest insult for me was what they did with Jeremy's character.
Oh my
Jeremy
god,
is
Jeremy
such a
is like
brilliant
hot,
character.
and he's like dark haired.
He's part like
Asian.
Kitsune, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, come on. There are plenty of guys out there who look like that, who are fucking fine as hell.
And especially
who
when
could
you
play
like
that part.
you read into like Kelly Armstrong's kind of history with trying to turn her books into, you know, into some sort of film adaptation. They had approached her to do a movie once upon a time and she turned it down.
That was
because
dumb.
They were gonna butcher it. And then for some reason she decided to go with this whole TV show thing and they completely butcher it. So like what was the point?
I couldn't even look at it. It like pissed me off.
I
so
do really
bad.
like her books. And so I read all of the Women of the Other World series. I also read her YA series. And that's a particular favorite of mine was her first YA series, which is The Darkest Powers. I absolutely love that. I also really, really like Sarah J. Maas's Court of Thorn and Roses, which I got her reading.
She just got me starting to read it, and I literally plowed through 2 books like right away. I'm at the very end of the 3rd book right now. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm like drooling over.
Yeah, it's good. It's
certain
good,
character,
especially since it's like it's lumped into the new genre that's known as new young adult, which is for like college age kids or whatever. It's like for like over
What
the
is
age of
that?
18, which is so stupid because again, you could when I read
There's
this
adult
book,
books and there's kid books.
when I read this
Okay.
book, honestly, it's like when I got done with it, especially done with the second book, I was like, you could just put this in with the adult section. It really
Yeah.
makes no difference if you
all
did
the
that.
freaking
Yeah,
slamming.
yeah, exactly. Especially in the second book, she gets pretty detailed in there.
Yummy, yummy, yummy.
But I'm trying to think of what else.
I was like freaking out when I was.
Yeah, she was.
I'm reading
I knew
it in
she was
bed,
gonna
and I'm
be.
like, oh my god, I'm dying here.
yeah, it's brilliant.
I'm like, okay, I need to go take a cold shower now.
A book in the YA series, though, that I find very similar to A Court of Thorns and Roses. Like, I'd say if you like that book, you'd probably like this book too, and that's A Cruel Prince. I read that. I read the first 2 books. The 3rd book is yet to be released. I really like that. Again, high on the drama, a lot of the betrayal. It's really good.
Outlander.
Oh, Outlander is really good too. I'm still
Hello.
behind on that. She's
Oh,
further in the books than I am. With
My
that.
God. All right, that woman knows how to write, and it's so cool because she's literally basing this stuff on
She has a
shit
lot
that
of
actually
degrees. She's
happened.
very smart.
Okay, but I swear to God, I effing love Jamie. It's like, oh yeah, baby, bring it on, you know. And it's like when I saw the TV show, I was like, yes.
They did a really good job with the adaptation of
Oh
that TV show.
my God. I was like, I literally, you guys, I fucking was bawling when I was reading. I'm not going to say what it is. There's something that occurs. And I think, well, it just happened in the show, actually.
Yeah.
But when I read it, let me tell you, I was dying. It was so sad and gut wrenching, but it was so well written and I was totally crying. It's kind of like when you read Harry Potter. I mean, come on, who the fuck doesn't like Harry Potter?
Yeah, seriously.
It was so crazy because when we read when
I haven't read it in so
when
long.
Dumbledore died, it was so crazy because
Spoiler
I
if you
was
haven't seen
reading
it.
it aloud and I was like dying when I was reading it. I was crying. And it was funny because my man, he was listening to it on an audiobook on his way home from work. And when he walked in the house, his eyes were all freaking glossy and he looked all sad. I'm like, oh my God, you listened to it, didn't you? He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh my God, was that not like gut wrenching or what? Because they really dragged it out, and like the whole funeral scene and all that kind of stuff. It was just too much. You know, she did a good job of that, even though she fucking pisses me off with her switching
recent,
shit.
Just
don't try to
stop.
be relevant. Just stick with what you wrote and just deal with it. You know, when you write new stuff, then change things or whatever you want.
Again, there's a difference.
Don't do that.
An author that
trying to be popular that way is stupid.
An author that I like to bring up on that point is Rick Riordan, because he's still writing his books, and so he has become more like, I guess, what is the word? Inclusive to other different, gender lifestyle groups. But he did it in a way because he was still writing the books. It wasn't like he already had finished certain books and he's like going back and saying that, this character is now like this or something, even though it's like after the fact. He's still currently writing, and it actually worked, and it explained a lot of characters in depth more because he went into that direction. But
trying to be relevant by freaking just making something
that's not
bullshit.
That's not how I felt that what he was doing with his books. It actually like made sense. Another book that came to mind, since we're talking about books and movie adaptions, a book that I actually really love the book and the movie, even though they're kind of different in how they like tone and kind of the subject matter that they decided to go with it, and that's Warm Bodies. I love the book. That's the one I need to make you read, because the book is so different from the movie in tone and some of the other details they touch on. But the movie is so cute because it's just like so heartwarming.
Nicholas is so cute.
Yes, he is. He's adorable.
Oh my God, I love that man. He is a cutie pie, and I love his accent.
Yes.
It's like weird when you hear him speak in his actual native accent. It's like, oh my God, you're even hotter now.
And so the last question we have here is how to keep a happy marriage. And that goes all to my twin over here.
This is a good one. To keep a happy marriage, you need to learn a word. It's called compromise. If you don't understand this word, you do not comprehend it, don't be married, period. End of story. Yes, seriously. It's like you have to be... I think if you want a happy marriage, first of all, marry somebody who's your friend. Don't marry somebody, be in a relationship and just be friends with that person for a while first before you even tie the knot. Because then you get to know each other. You get to know each other's quirks, faults, whatever. And if you can't work in a relationship as a friend with somebody first, then you're not going to make it romantically. Okay, period. If you can't tolerate saying I'm sorry or forgiving somebody, you are not going to make it in a relationship. I highly recommend, obviously, besides, all that stuff, you want to be, I'm just going to say it, okay? And I don't give a shit if somebody has a problem with this. You want to be sexually attracted to the person you're marrying, okay? You want to be... I think that's with any relationship, though. If you're not, turned on by them, it's going to be a miserable fucking life, all right? You want to look at them and be like, yes, please. You want to pick somebody, first of all, not just your friend, but also that, does it for you, okay? Because I know that there are people in the past that are like, oh, well, I married him for this, or I married him for that. It's like, or I married her for this or that. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's like if you are not turned on by the person, you can't be friends with them, you don't know how to compromise and you don't know how to forgive, then you've got no business being, in a binding relationship with somebody. What I feel about marriage is, when it's right to marry somebody. It just will feel right. It'll, it's just how it's how it is with a relationship in general. If somebody's hemming and hawing and they're just sticking their thumb up their butt for years and years on end and they won't make a solid commitment, you have to question, why is that? Either you both are on either both of you accept that you don't want to have that kind of, you don't want to have a marriage, or maybe you feel like you don't need to have a ring on your finger or whatever. But if one of you wants that and the other one doesn't, then time to heave ho. You know what I mean? It's like also with relationships, I was actually engaged to a person once upon a time. And I'm just going to say it. He was a little bitch in that, he let other people tell him what's up. You know what I mean? So instead of choosing what he wanted or what he felt was right for his happiness, he let other people of his family interfere with that. And it didn't work out too well for him or me in the end. But I mean, it did work out for me in the end because hey, I'm here and I'm freaking happy. But I don't think that he is, because after freaking we split apart, he kept trying to call me. And then when I was with, my new person, he actually tried to call me and stuff like that. And then my guy got on the phone and was like, fuck off. Because, that's the kind of person that he was. It's like, he knew what it was good, and it was good between me and him, and that, we were good together, but he let other people interfere, which is not a fucking smart thing. All right. So another thing that brings me to my point. If you're in a relationship with somebody, you're in a relationship with that person. Everybody else can piss off and butt the fuck out. It's nobody else's business what happens between you and your significant other. It's your guys' business. Nobody has a say in it. They can go fuck themselves. All right? Yes, that sounds harsh and I'm cussing, but that's just the way I feel. Okay? Keep people out of your personal life. It's nobody's goddamn business. All right? Keep your private life private. And that goes for, I think, any relationship, really. It doesn't matter if it's marriage or not. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes.
Mind your fucking business. It's none of your fucking business what's going on between two people. It's their choice.
On that note, it's a little bit, I don't necessarily want to say a pet peeve, but it's just something I've noticed, especially on the YouTube sphere.
Oh, God.
When people who are in relationships, kind of push it a ton, almost to get views on their YouTube.
This is my twin flame.
Or this is my boyfriend, and
my God,
they do.
We're so perfect. And
it's
don't do that.
Every time I've seen somebody who makes
they break up
a huge deal about their relationship on YouTube, it's it never works out.
It's social fucking media.
Social media in general.
It's the people who brag about their relationships all the time, they're the ones who have the shittiest ones. Okay? If they're always constantly going, oh, lovey boo boo, gaga goo goo crap all the time, it's yeah, you're all fake. Okay? Because if you're secure and you're in a stable relationship, you got no reason to brag about it.
And it's all the YouTubers and social media people that I follow, it's occasionally they'll do a video with their significant other, or they'll mention them, but it's they never go in depth about their relationship or brag about it or anything like that. They're the ones who have stayed together and gotten married and stuff like that and have stuck over years. So it's just
keep your fucking private life private. I don't want to know what you're doing, okay? Just
also,
keep
it's
it to yourself.
If we're talking about energy and we're talking about, intent and stuff like that, it's when you're kind of throwing that out there. Of course, if you're sending it out there into the public view, you should expect that, some of the people who stumble upon your video or your content where you're showing this are not going to have the best intentions towards you.
Yeah,
or they're going to be jealous, or they're going to be bitter or whatever. And they're going to be sending that energy out towards you, which I'm sure doesn't help the relationships in that situation, being affected by that outside energy.
Yeah, it's horse shit. Don't do it. That goes with magic in general.
Yeah,
when you're working something,
you don't work magic on other people either.
No, and you don't. And when you are working magic, period, A, you only work it on yourself. B, you don't go bragging about it and telling people your plans. When I was younger and stuff, I'd tell people my plans or what I was going to do, and it's kind of funny. Whenever I would do that, they would never fucking work out right, or they would just it would fail or whatever. And it's you know what? Now I just keep all my business to myself. I don't fucking brag about shit. I don't tell people stuff. It's none of their goddamn business. When I'm ready to unleash it on y'all, I will do it. I'm a sharing person. I like to share. I really do. But when it comes to things that are in progress or I'm working on something, I'm not going to tell anybody anything. It's none of their business. It's once it's completed and I finished it and I feel satisfied, then I'll share it. That's just the way I work. Also, for happy marriage or any relationship, intimacy, okay? Spending intimate time alone together, okay? Today's lifestyle is crazy busy. Everybody's working. They're doing all this shit. They're sometimes working multiple jobs and whatnot. It's really, really critical and important to make sure that you make the time with your significant other to like spend time alone without social media, without phones, without any of that crap, and just get to know one another all over again and remember why you are even, what even brought you together in the first place. You know, date your fucking mate, yo, you know? You know, whether, I'm sorry for all the little people out there who are repressed. Sex is it's a critical part of a relationship, okay? What the hell are you even with another person for? You're gonna have sex at some point, right? So you want to make sure the sex is good. Take the time to learn how to pleasure your partner, like for sure. You know, really learn what they like. Don't rush things, you know? I'm sorry, no matter how much people try to fight it, fucking foreplay is really, really important, especially for a woman. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Okay, we like to get turned on. Men are dumb if they do not learn this, okay? The ones who know it, oh my God, I love you. You know, it's like you want to rev and warm your woman up before, yes, you know, hit it home. Because when you do that, the woman is going to be all over you and rock your fucking world, okay? The guys who just rush in there and are just like, wham, bam, thank you, man. They're stupid. They're missing out on some hot shit if they would just take their fucking time and slow their fucking crap down. So definitely intimacy. This is like really, really important. Spend time alone. Get away from your children if you have kids. Who gives a crap? Just like, I mean, literally, you have to learn how to put your foot, and I know it's hard because when I was younger and I had, you know, my baby, it's like, you know, being apart from your child is hard, but it's worth it, you know, to get to be alone with your mate and like, you know, be adults without having to worry about a child. So get a babysitter, have a family member watch your kid, whatever it takes to spend some time alone and enjoy each other and savor each other, okay? Remember that. It's really important. I think a lot of people nowadays want to have a spiritual connection with another person, okay? To me, that's what I want. You know, if I don't have a spiritual connection with somebody, they can piss off, you know? I mean, isn't that... I just... Anyway, I get frustrated when I think about it. Yes. To all these horny little dudes on Tinder who are just looking to get their stick wet, it's like, let me tell you, you're barking up the wrong tree. I know there's some chicks out there that are the same way. I pity you. I feel sorry for you. Hopefully one day you'll awaken, because when you have a spiritual connection with somebody in that sense, it's mind-blowing. It takes you to another place. You fucking come out of your body and shit, okay? It's that good. So... look into it. Bond with somebody that you have a connection with. It's called intimacy for a reason, okay? Also, when you come together with another person in a sexual way, you are actually physically creating an entity when you do that. You are putting energy out there. So you don't want to mesh your energy with somebody who's uber low vibrational and stuff. You know what I'm saying? That creates a fucking hiccup in the collective consciousness. I can get real deep into this shit, let me tell you. But that's for another podcast, I guess. I mean, literally, we could do a whole nother podcast on
If you guys
sex,
are interested
okay?
in a podcast like that where we delve into that topic, then definitely comment down below. Again, comment down below any kind of topics you would like us to delve more into, whether we mentioned it in this particular podcast or it's just something that you would like to hear us talk about. Then, again, drop that comment down below.
I like a lot of there's a group of younger people today who really are into that whole, you know, spiritual connection when it comes to intimacy and stuff like that. And I really appreciate that, considering boomers have completely fucking ruined that.
Which is the new hot meme.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, they just don't get it. Some of them do. I give props to the small portion that do get that. But most of them are just, I live in a town where there's a shit ton of them, okay? We have a lot of young people. It's like this weird cross-section of people. We have a ton of very wealthy, retired people. And we have college students. And then we have like a small group of like family type people. And the boomers, like when I'm walking around my neighborhood or something and I see these dudes, they're so like, they're in their garage trying to hide from their wives all the time. They literally put TVs in their garage to try to avoid conversing with their wives because they hate their wives. It's like, why did you even get married in the first place? Don't get married, whatever. It's like they're so on a different planet from each other. It's like, even though younger people and stuff, we get, different generations, we get busy and we work and stuff like that. I feel like there's a group of the more younger generations from Gen X down to the millennials to Gen Z that are, well, Gen Z is pretty young right now, aren't they?
Not the Gen Z is like probably in their early teens now, most of them. Or a little bit later teens. It's like, it's right in there. Because I was born right on the cusp of the very, very end of millennial and the very, very beginning of Gen Z. But another big thing that tips me more into being Gen Z is the fact that my parents are from the Generation X. So I am more of a Generation Z than I am a millennial in that regards. But again, it just matters on what source you're looking at. But it pretty much the end of the millennials is 1996. So anybody who's born after that could kind of be lumped into Generation Z.
And everybody forgets about Gen X. Seriously. The Breakfast Club. The Pretty in Pink. The Weird Science Group. It's like,
I love those movies.
I seriously, Gen X is fucking awesome, but nobody fucking gives a rat's ass.
Again, a lot of millennials seem to forget that it's really thanks to Gen X
that you even got a fucking computer, thank you.
And like the whole interest in pop culture and almost like the internet, all the things that we, like the millennials get really obsessed into is all from Generation X, but they never point to that at all. Nobody ever talks about it.
No, not the forgotten generation. Okay, that's what it is. So anyway, I think that about covers it. Whatever you guys want to know or you want us to talk about, please leave a comment below because we will touch on it. We totally read everything that you guys say. I try to comment back as much as humanly possible to everybody who leaves a comment. I love to interact with our soul family, our soul tribe. So I guess that about wraps it up for this first podcast. We thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to having you with us here on out. Thank you so much.
See you in the next one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.